This is the first full year that we've used it, and every stylist is in line to hit their year goal. We only had 3 stylists hit their year goal last year. I can't take full credit. They're the ones doing the work, but I think that it's helped them put the intention behind the goal to better understand it. I think it's made it a lot easier for them as opposed to being so overwhelming.
Please tell our listeners about the Stylist Playbook, what this is and how it can benefit solo stylists or commissioned salon owners.
I'm a massive fan of personal development. We meet with our team every single month. My manager meets with our stylists individually monthly. I come in on the quarterly meetings. We set their year goals in the beginning of the year. So I created the book. One, I have a whole year calendar, and then I break it down for the month where they can track their numbers. And then from the guided questions in there, that helps us guide their monthly conversations. Our mid-year review is my absolute favorite because that's like, if you wanted to hit 6 figures, if you're at 55,000 or anything like that, how can we hit it? And if you're below it, what do we do to change? And then look at where they're at education-wise.
Today, I am sitting down with the powerhouse between Raleigh's iconic pink Pinup Salon. This is the one and only Christina Kirkey. Welcome to Brazen and Bold.
Hello, how are ya?
Great. You look wonderful today.
Thank you. The joys of being a salon owner, we get the fresh blowouts.
I mean, I don't know about you, but as a salon owner, I feel like I'm the one with the ponytail and the ball cap on way too many days of the week. But you've pulled it together. First of all, can we talk about the wallpaper behind you? It's incredible. For those of you who are just listening in, it's got like a cute blush pink background and then leaves or vines growing up in kind of stripes, if you will. And then in between it, pink blow dryers. Where did you find this treasure trove?
So it was this company, and I think they might have went out of business or someone bought them out, but it's called Sunday Social Club, and they released a series called Beauty School Dropout, and it's grass cloth wallpaper. I actually have 3 rooms in my salon with different of their items from it, but oh my gosh, it's my absolute favorite.
And I love grass cloth. I wouldn't see the texture on camera, but I'm obsessed. It's delightful. I kind of want to see the rest of the wallpaper, so I'm going to have you text me pictures. This is so cute. I mean, just want to start off by saying for anybody who's not watching and they're just listening, please hop over to her Instagram and look at her salon space. The aesthetic is everything. Pink walls, positive vibes, and it's all about a powerhouse and empowering women.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about, your origins with hair. Since you were a little girl, you were turning your house into a spa, a beauty salon, a whole vibe. So tell me about that when you were little.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely the one making, spa gift cards for my parents for holidays, probably giving the world's worst pedicures and makeovers. And then it
Right?
moved to my high school girlfriends in box color. And then I had more interest in doing makeup, but they don't really have makeup schools here. They say they teach it in the cosmetology schools. They really don't. And so I always really thought I was going to do more with that. And I went to Paul Mitchell, graduated high school early, went to Paul Mitchell, and just kind of hit the gate running. But always been girly girl. You're not going to see me outside playing in the mud or doing any of the other things. No.
Never? Not even when you were little?
No.
Well, that is interesting because I do not recall a day wanting to do something besides doing hair. I have always wanted to do hair, and I thought I was going to be a boy when I grew up. I only played in the mud. I loved bugs and climbing trees and worms and spiders and snakes. I still do. FYI, I have a couple of pets like that at my house. And I would mountain bike and hike and do rough and tumble things. And so this is a facade. What
You
am I
grew
doing
into
wearing
this.
makeup? What am I doing wearing makeup? Right. Anyway, and I've got my little one is a super, super tomboy and it has similar vibes. But it's funny because I still knew I loved hair, but I was not cute like you. So you were all things frills. I mean, and you just brought that into your space of your salon. I'd like to know too, when did you realize that this little fun hobby was more than just something, a phase? When did you realize that this was a passion or something that you knew you wanted to do?
I mean, my goal was to open a salon in general. From the beginning I was the 18-year-old in cosmetology school telling everyone I'd open a salon with my dad one day. And he did unfortunately pass while I was in cosmetology school. So I worked at a handful of salons in the area, and I felt like I just could never find my salon home. And the last salon I worked for, that was exactly what I said in my interview. Like, I just want to find my salon home. This was before social media was big. So it was really hard to get your clients when you moved. So I was never building how I should have been. And so, I started my own studio for about 3 years, but I never was marketing like it was just me. I always marketed bigger and saw it as bigger. And so then it kind of got to the point where I'm working 13-hour days, having these crazy big months. And then when new people would come in, they were like, oh, I thought this was like a whole actual salon because that's how I marketed it. So that's how people started to view it. And I was like, oh, I think I can expand now and get some help.
Wait a minute, I've got an idea. I'm really good at this, and people are flocking to me and already think I'm a big brand. I wonder if I've got a big brand. Now, you mentioned your dad's passing and you wanted to start this business together. So, is this kind of a tribute or legacy to his memory and the vision you shared together in starting this space?
For sure. I mean, we never, this was, I don't know how many cosmetology schools do it. I know they don't do it anymore, but back in the day, Paul Mitchell would take you to like a handful of salons, especially when you were about to graduate. And so you
Hmm.
could see them in person. And so I would always call my dad after them and just be like, I like this, I like that. And we always talked about it, but we never got into like the name of it or anything like that. And so and then obviously, when he passed, I didn't necessarily think that this was gonna happen between I mean, I was only 18 years old, so
You were a
who
bait.
yeah. And I mean, of course, opened my studio, I think I was 23 or 24 at the time, which is still young, but the amount that I've learned is absolutely insane. So, there's definitely a tribute to it. There's a lot of bittersweet moments where I can definitely feel that he's there. I know he has the best seat in the house for sure, but,
Nice.
it's a lot more just bittersweet moments.
Yeah. Did he have a background in hair or business, or what made you want to
He
work with him in this capacity?
No, he, owned a painting company, so he primarily did commercial painting and then larger real estate painting. So, he had a great business and ran that for a while. Of course, he passed in 2010, which was like, it's the recession, things are changing and different, and so his
For
business
sure.
was definitely taking a little bit of a hit at that point. But he grew from absolutely nothing, and he was always very proud of his company was named after him, William J. Taylor Painting. He was very proud of his name. So, I think that's where I like his name would be put on anything and everything, and that's kinda how I am with Pinup. My husband makes fun of me all the time and says I look like a softball coach because I wear it like it's my favorite sports team.
I love this. Yes. Okay. And you should. I like that you're proud of that and proud of that name and what you've established. You started with this one chair. People thought you were a whole actual thing, and you are a whole actual thing. What was the process between going from that to this 16 chair salon?
So the middle process was Facebook. I had came across Randy, who he is now 75, 74, 75 years old. He was this older man who owned a barbershop less than a mile down the road from me. And he still wanted to work and rent the chair part time. And he just didn't want to own it anymore. He had owned it for 28 years. And so I met him, fell in love, sweetest guy in the world. Not like love like that. Like he's just a good person.
We love a lot of people in this business, and we can love hard. That's all right. So Randy just became like a buddy.
Yeah, and it was, he's just been there for everything. He actually still rents a chair from me. I am a commissioned salon, but he's one that like he even made
Oh,
the move with us. So his spot was a 10 chair barber shop. It was all black and white, typical barber shop. It had shampoo bowls at every single station, back barring all of that shampoo and every like I just and but I didn't have the money to upfit it. So
yeah.
I just zhuzhed it and made it pink. And he didn't care. So I did that for a little under 5 years, and for the last 2 years prior to our move in June 2024, I had been searching for a place because our old space was like that shotgun shell, very
Yeah.
narrow, and I wanted wide. So we finally found it and then started that build out and moved in there June of last year. So went from 1,500 square feet to 2,500 square feet with the 16 chairs and a designated bridal suite that has 2 chairs in it as well.
Gorgeous. I freaking love that. Will you tell us a little bit about how you really set forth to build a strong, inclusive culture that became what you are proud of here at Pinup?
I think it's a little bit of like the no bullshit mentality, but also very clear as kind. I don't do negativity and gossip. Obviously, we are females. Obviously, feelings get strong. I think I have a pregnant stylist every quarter. The hormones are hormoning. Like
Yep.
we're all in the thing. Things are going to happen, but I'm very quick to fix things or correct or pull people in a room and we're going to talk about it. And I think it's just the overall support. And our clients talk about that all the time because they're like, "Are y'all always this happy in here?" And like talking. You have two different types of, well, that's maybe less, but in my eyes, I vision two different types of salons. You have like your very modern, quiet, the stylist is only talking to their client. No one looks left, no one looks right. I'm just focusing on this. And then you have your old school salons where everyone's talking together, everyone's laughing, everyone's mingling. And that is very much the culture within Pinup. And I built that because it's like a sisterhood. It's, nobody gets us like we get us as women. And so why are we like, I want people to try to break out of that shell. Of course, there's guests that come in that are going to have that more intimate one-on-one time with their stylist. But as a whole, when our guests know everyone, it makes it easier for when my stylists go on maternity leave and all these
Yes.
different things. Cause they're like, oh yeah, I was chatting it up with her last time. I'll just go see her. I'll feel fine. They don't feel like they're cheating on their stylist. And then for stylists, again, I was coming up kind of a little bit before social media started taking over. And so we didn't have all of these resources, but I felt like it was so catty and so competitive. Like the last salon I worked at, a girl specifically gave another stylist the wrong toner to put on a client because she
Are
was
you
after.
kidding me?
And I was like,
No. Was this the place you owned?
no, this is the place I worked at.
You worked out. I'm like, I cannot imagine.
And I
Oh
was
my
just, it was
gosh.
just awful. And I never wanted that. So I worked really hard to just make sure, like, hey, we're here to be the hype girls and the cheerleaders. You can have a bad day. I'm not going to make you sit here and throw a smile on your face every single day, but we're not going to, we're not here to tear each other down.
I love that. And I think, I can kind of envision the feeling and the culture, the everybody, you probably have a couple of people who have their same appointment roughly every 3, 4 weeks, whatever. And they're like, oh, they see the same stylist
Hmm.
and the same other clients in the chairs and they get to know each other. I mean, I've loved that in my salon as well, where you have people who wind up getting on the same rotation as your station buddies
Yep.
person. And like pretty soon they know each other's kids' names and they know how did that go with you and how did that
Hmm.
job interview go or how's your grandbaby. It's pretty amazing. You've got your girl gang, right? What do you call it? Like
The girl
your
gang.
girl gang, the girl gang, right? I mean, you
Yep.
do have Randy,
Yep.
but Randy and the girl gang.
Yep.
What kind of things have you integrated and incorporated in your leadership style and in your culture that have kept those things down, like the cattiness and the gossip? You mentioned you just hit things head on,
Yep.
clear as kind. But what other things have you done? Because that is quite like you said, with a space full of artists and creatives and hormones hormoning. How have you been able to maintain that?
We celebrate big, first of all. And it's, when people are hitting milestones, I work really heavy with personal goals with the girls. Obviously, professional and personal ties so heavy in together. So we really get to know all of that. We're celebrating milestones. We have, I should have stock in pink confetti cannons because we're popping pink confetti cannons when people are hitting their goal or when they're graduating out of our associate program or when they're leveling up. I do a huge summer bash with them, and it's just a party that I throw. This year we did like a field day, and I got a huge blow up water slide. And
Oh
so it was
my
like old
goodness.
school field day vibes. And just, it's not like, oh, the morale seems down. Let's have a pizza party. No, we come together every single month for our staff meetings. And before we even kick into anything, we all take the time to sit down of like, what are you grateful for? And what are you excited about? And so obviously a lot of them do have time to catch up, but some of them don't. So we get to kind of all get on the same field. We call on each other. And then I think just the way that they continue to watch how me, my manager, and my two educators show up and how we support each other has just bled into that and then even pouring into the community. And it's like, it's an infection, but a good one. And so you just want to keep doing that. You want to make people feel good. But I think, I used to do a lot more events. Obviously, with our move, finances are a little different. I used to try to do quarterly girls' days and it kind of became a little bit too much. So now we really try to pour into our monthly meetings with them where it's more than just like, you need to be doing this month.
Yeah. Dress code. Let's all remember. Also, what is your dress code? Tell me a little bit about that.
So we obviously you can wear any color. The only main rules that I have are you have to wear pink on Wednesday.
Excuse me, you mean to say on Wednesdays we wear pink, I think is what you meant to
That's
say.
what I
Did
meant
I
to
hear
say.
you right?
So
Okay.
we
Just
do follow that rule thoroughly, and then Crocs are not allowed in the salon. I personally just hate them, and I felt like I own this, so I'm gonna just call it and not see Crocs on my floor.
so you should own stock in pink confetti cannons and you should not own stock in Croc. Is that what I'm
Exactly.
hearing?
And then just, I mean, I always say pick two out of the three. You have your outfit, your hair, and your makeup. Obviously, if it's that time of the month, and because I think you can dress up like comfy matching sets, you can dress up and sweatpants. I don't mean the ones that are covered in paint and coffee stains and food,
Thank you.
but
Right.
I
You
think
could have
you
like cute
can.
joggers that you put together in a way, right?
There's so many cute ones in I mean, I'm so happy sneakers are a thing now, even with dresses, because that's just comfier.
Well,
Um,
also, if you do hair more than 3 weeks, stilettos aren't cutting it.
no,
Like, I can't, those are my sit down shoes.
yeah.
Those are my shoes I wear to get my hair done, not my shoes I wear to stand up.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's pretty relaxed. I mean, we don't necessarily hold them to a standard. Base makeup, make sure your hair is clean. You're not coming in. I don't want them coming in and doing their makeup and hair at their station first thing. Like you need to come in ready, and not look like you rolled out of bed.
I think that seems fair enough. And it sounds like a pretty fun culture. I like how you've put the emphasis on leading proactively. So you're engaging people, celebrating them, giving them touch points to connect, helping the team be cohesive. So at those meetings, you're spotlighting what are you looking forward to and grateful for. And you're not waiting till there's discord to be like, okay, time to get everybody happy. Let's have a party. Like, I love that. I think that's really great. And you've talked a bit and shared your views about balance or the myth of balance, especially for entrepreneurs. Anybody who's an entrepreneur listening to this knows that that's kind of like the elusive word that feels like something we should figure out, but none of us know what we're doing. I love it if you shared a little bit about, we can explore how you have found your way through that myth of balance as an entrepreneur and someone who's growing a brand and a business.
Yeah. I mean, I think balance is kind of a myth in its own. I feel like it's something that people chase and then you get mad because you can't get it, or you like kind of feel like you have it and then life happens. It's like when you finally feel like you've gotten up on all of your bills and then your tire blows or something. Like it's never going to be perfectly balanced. And I think as a business owner, you could potentially get to a point where balance necessarily means you're maintaining. But when you're in a
Sure.
growing and a scaling rate, that's just not going to happen. Before I did our move, I felt, I think, as balanced as I could feel, because the salon was what it was. She was small, everything was taken care of, all of that was fine. And so I could take a little bit more time off. I could spend more time at home. But then once we moved, we've only been in here for about a year and a half. And I feel like I'm right back to the beginning of my old space because we're rebuilding.
Right.
We moved 7 miles away and the structure is different. The salon, we did raise the standards because it's a whole new salon. It's still a comfy, cozy vibe, but I mean, it's more luxurious in there. I spent about $500,000 on this place. So
Nice. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see in person. I hope I can come soon.
I hope so.
I kind of want to go to the water slide party. Can I come then?
Yeah, we've had so many clients. They're like, where do we get invited to this? I'm like, oh,
But
gracious.
actually, oh my gosh, how cute would that be? Like popsicles for everybody. That's incredible. So up leveling there. How have you learned to embrace these seasons as they come with the busyness of life and the different things, the creative, the chaotic, the growth, and then, like you said, just as you get the other space kind of ready and curated and your team built and humming, moving, it's like starting over. It's a
Hmm.
ton of work to remodel. Anybody who's gone through that knows. Listen, this is like, oh my gosh, a build out. They kind of get like we start hyperventilating when you say those words.
Yeah, it's therapy for one, but
Yes,
also
good.
me being like, I do not have a good relationship with the word rest. My dad was just, Sundays were not chill. We were cleaning the house, we were doing everything, we were prepping for the week. And so my husband is like the yin to my he's very calm. He likes to chill and have a lazy Sunday. And it took me a while to realize, like, okay, sometimes just being lazy is more proactive than just constantly doing, because then you're pouring from an empty cup. So I do a better job now at like recognizing in myself if I'm getting irritated easier or whatever. I'm like, I need sleep. I need to put my phone down. I'm definitely an avid doom
Yes.
scroller, but it's then I start comparing to other salons that are popping up on my page, or then I start being like, ooh, I should start marketing this and doing that. Well, why am I going to build out this whole other campaign when we still have to do these other things? And so I feel like I try to take at least a good day. Like I try to take my Sunday to make sure that my week is set for meal plans for my husband and I when it comes to dinner. So we don't have that fight every single night, and make sure the laundry's done, all of those things, which sounds so little, but for me, it matters. And he knows that, but also it's just we're going into holiday season and I know that I'm going to be running a little bit ragged. And so knowing that this is just a season, this is not forever, but also being grateful in the crazy season because this is something that I once wanted more than anything. So being grateful in the chaos.
Hey, business owners. Yes, you. I know you're juggling it all: marketing, admin tasks, websites, podcasts, social media. The list never ends. That's where Spark comes in. We're a virtual assistant company built just for small business owners because once you're able to delegate, we know you'll be able to dominate. Our clients are seeing up to 30% increase in social media engagement and sales, all by letting us handle the behind the scenes work. Not to mention an incredible boost in flexibility, profit, and time. So scan the QR code right now to schedule a free chat with my team. Let's make you efficient AF and help you focus on what you do best: growing and leading your business. Because that idea and that myth of like, as soon as you have all this done and set, then it's just on autopilot, sadly, or maybe fortunately doesn't actually exist. It sounds like you've
Mhm.
got a good partner to add balance to your life. I love that you shout out therapy. We're big fans over here. Are there any other tips that you have for people who feel like they're constantly struggling with the idea of balance or falling behind or failing at it, for them to find those moments of stillness or being grounded or restfulness?
If you're doing something that it is chaos, but it's something that you love, something that you have a lot of passion for, then keep going and push through it. But if you find yourself falling out of love with it, then cut it. We actually had converted a 1975 Holiday Rambler into a mobile bridal suite.
So
So cute. Don't ask me why I did that. Awful idea. Worst investment of my life. $50,000 down the drain because we had to get a truck to pull it. I
Oh,
signed my husband up and never paid him. And we were up at the butt crack of dawn doing weddings. And it was when I really like took a step back and I was like, I'm just overwhelmed. And then I'm like, this is what's draining me. It's got to go. So we
good.
finished out what was booked with it, sold it, got it off of my plate. So I feel like the moment that it's no longer like your passion isn't there, I don't want to say no, it's not fun anymore because sometimes work's just not fun.
Right.
But if I feel like if you're losing your passion behind it, then you need to figure out if that's what you really want to do. And if you want to cut it, being okay with cutting it, and knowing that that's not a failure to end something.
That's amazing. The fallacy of sunk cost. If you've heard of that logical fallacy, like, well, I've already put 50,000 into this and I've got the truck and I decorated it. I need to keep going. Clearly, that's a fallacy. It's not worthwhile to keep going, even if you thought you'd get really into this one thing and you decide you wanted to try it. Let it go. I
Hmm.
like that. You don't have to keep doing that. I love that.
Yep.
Um, I also would love to hear a little bit more about your signature rally cry: support your local girl gang. I want to know what led you to start that kind of a campaign, and how it became a rally cry to gather and empower women in your community.
I mean, in the beginning of it, it was just kind of like gosh, what is the girl's name that holds the fist up?
Rosie the Riveter?
Rosie the Riveter. And so
We
there was,
girls can do it like that. Is that what you're
yes.
talking about? Okay,
And
okay.
so it was very much like, this one's for the girls. We're here to support each other through thick and thin for the community. I was born and raised in Raleigh. I've never moved. So I do
Nice.
support my community very heavily. I have for years. And in return, like I've never asked for anything in return, but in return, when COVID had hit and things like that, there was a lot of things our community did to support us. And so when it supports your local girl gang, it's knowing that like my stylists are not just stylists. These are mothers, these are partners, these are women that are also going through the same things, that are showing up, being your underpaid therapist and just trying to do their best as well. And our guests, of course, you're going to have some guests that like they don't understand that or want to, they just want to get their hair done, and that's absolutely fine. But for the people in the community who have came and seen the women empowerment and the encouragement through it, we do free courage cuts. So any woman that is going through chemo or has like finished her last one and has, where the hair is kind of growing back, all those cuts are free on us. They can bring friends if they want. They can do a thing. We've never really publicized it, but people just know we finally kind of have that service on our software now. But just showing up for women in that way, we've done so many different makeovers and stuff. And it's just, I think that's where people started to see like, okay, these women are for women. When I host events, I only have women owned businesses. If I could have had my whole build out by women owned, construction teams and all of this, would have done it. And it's just everything that we do is primarily if I can get a woman to do it first, that's who I'm hiring.
This courage cut idea is incredible. I love hearing about these campaigns and the passionate support around rallying behind women, especially in your community. I think it's beautiful and brilliant that you've grown up in this community. Your heart is here and you want to give back to it and then also empower people within it. I think that's magic. Are there any other things that you've done that you want to highlight about your team or your salon space where you've collaborated within the community or created events and spaces to build community in your area?
I think, I mean, it not necessarily events. I think it's just the inclusivity of, we have gender free haircuts. We do a lot of transformations and things. And it's just always that place of comfort. And it is actually crazy. We had a crossdresser reach out to us and was very honest, and salons like weren't even responding to this
Well,
person. And so, we do everything we can on the back end to always be very personable with the guests when they're reaching out, but also it's not even one of those things where we have to go and tell our stylist like, "Hey, this type of person or these type of things are going on." It's very much like you are very accepted when you come in here. And so that does spread in the community where people know, okay, this is a safe space to be. This is a safe space to go and be myself and not be judged. Between our local women's shelter, so typically we will bring products down there yearly. So when I had bought Randy's barbershop, he was a Paul Mitchell product fan, not my favorite. I needed to change stuff out. Of course, they weren't buying it all back. I have given thousands worth of donations to the local women's shelter with shampoos, conditioners, lotions, things like that. And we've hosted drives when hurricane, what was the one last year? Was it Helene? Had hit the mountain area. We had a
mhm,
huge drive, which was like a mass. I mean, I'm talking 3 carloads worth of stuff, which was crazy to be able to drop
that's
off. And
awesome.
I was very choked up even when our whole front lobby was just sky high with boxes of donations.
People bringing things in. I love that. I really appreciate you sharing those different things about this being an inclusive and safe space that people can find in your community, and that there doesn't have to be any kind of heads ups. Just so you know, this guest is coming, and it's like someone presents, and they're treated as a human is here, and a human wants a haircut,
Yep.
and they're just treated like a person. How about it? I think it's really really powerful, and it's sad to hear that people wouldn't be responding to other inquiries to book or requests. Are you registered on the trans friendly do the trans friendly barber pull in your window? Do you know of that site and that alliance?
I do. And I think I don't know if because I don't know if you have to renew it every year.
Well, if we do, I didn't know that.
Well, yeah.
I've had people find us that show it's listed. I just was curious if you've done the same.
Yeah. I mean, I know we were. So if we haven't had to redo it, then we should be on there.
Well, it sounds like you've made the world a bit of a safer place for anybody trying to express in any way who wants to enjoy your space, which I think is a really powerful way to show up for your community as well. Um, Please tell our listeners about the Stylist Playbook. I want to know what this is and how it can benefit solo stylists or commissioned salon owners.
So again, I'm a massive fan of personal development, and I think we get a lot of younger stylists in pinup that we train, and so I think sometimes for them it's hard to figure out what that 3 or 5 year goal is, or why do you even want to be a 6 figure stylist? Do you want to be that because TikTok told you that that's what the dream is? And even if being a 6 figure stylist, what does that mean for you? What do you want out of that money? So we meet with our team every single month. My manager meets with our stylists individually monthly. I come in on the quarterly meetings. We set their year goals in the beginning of the year. And, we've changed up the way that these monthly meetings go. But I felt like it was more of a time where, and it's not for us to sit there and be like, you did this, and this month. Now what? And I felt like there started to be those like dear eye conversations, and it's for them. It's for them to grow. So I created the book. One, I have a whole year calendar. So when the girls get this book in the beginning of the year, they know when our quarterly photo shoots are, blackout dates for holidays, our holiday party, which means I plan our 2026 holiday party in 2025, our summer girls day, all of these things. And then I break it down for the month where they can track their numbers. But each month they will have personal development questions to ask. So when they come for their meeting, they are telling us their numbers because we want to make sure they match. And I want them to have the power in their hands to be able to do that. And then from the guided questions in there, that helps us guide their monthly conversations. And then we change the questions up quarterly. And then our mid-year review is my absolute favorite because that's like, if you wanted to hit six figures, if you're at, 55,000 or anything like that, how can we you're obviously in line to hit it. And if you're below it, what do we do to change? And then look at where they're at education wise. Do they feel like, you know, if for some reason, I feel like it ebbs and flows of people being comfortable cutting bangs for some reason, and then like all of the shamanic haircuts. So then it's like, okay, do we need to get you some other type of education for the last part of this year that have to do more with the trends that are going on? Um, so it's a way to put the power in the stylist's hands. They want that anyways now. So, and we give them access to the numbers. Again, was in a salon when you did not have access to your numbers, or at least the ones I worked at here never gave them to us. So I never knew what I was doing. I never knew how I could grow. And this just puts the power in their hands. If you're an individual stylist, it puts it in my hands as the salon owner to better guide them. But it's also editable so that you can brand it. So it's called the Stylist Playbook, but within Pinup Studio, it's called the Pink Book.
Cute.
And everything in there, all the pages are branded very pink, all of that. And, it starts with the letter from me. So the stylists, so my girls, I write them like a hoorah letter. And then for if you're purchasing the book, there's a letter in there. But if you buy it as a salon owner, you can leave your team that love note, the purpose of the book, and just kind of have that little motivation kick in the butt.
I think that's a lot of fun and it's a great resource. It sounds like for someone who might want to add more meaning and impact to their one on ones, their team meetings, and give a more global approach. This isn't just leading on technical training. This isn't just teaching people how to make more money. I like how you spotlighted that kind of started getting stale and you want to start understanding and connecting with their why, what was motivating them to do this or what the objective behind the six figures was, and starting to connect that. Have you seen a transformation in how your team has responded to your leadership as a result of implementing, in your case, the pink book, but anybody who wants to use the stylist playbook?
This is the first full year that we've used it, and every stylist is in line to hit their year goal. We only had 3 stylists hit their year goal last year. So every stylist is in line. Obviously, I can't take full credit. They're the ones doing the work, but I think that
Sure.
it's helped them put the intention behind the goal to better understand it, because like their quarterly goals, we have them make 3 big ones, and it can be a mix of personal and professional, but I want to know why, and I want to know your actions, and I want to know who's going to help you achieve that goal. So it makes it just, I think it's made it a lot easier for them as opposed to being so overwhelming. And
Yeah.
it's really broken it down. So for my team to be able, like, I am so excited to be able to celebrate that with them for them hitting these goals this year.
I think that's wonderful. And like you said, yeah, they had to show up and do the work. But the fact that you're able to get that out of an entire team of individuals speaks pretty highly of your capacity to lead. So I don't think that that should be just breezed over. That's a pretty exceptional thing to encourage and provoke the best out of such a large group of people. Cooperative, willingly. I mean, these people are showing up because they want to show up. That's pretty impressive. I want to know what was your most unforgettable moment in the salon, or as a stylist, the most unforgettable moment for you?
Okay, well, one was my opening day of this new salon because it just felt like a dream. I actually had posted up like our whole floor plan. And so every client that came in that week signed our floor plan. And it was just such a surreal, like the whole build out in general was so obviously stressful, but so surreal to watch it all happen because I felt like it went so slow. And then it was like, holy crap, we open tomorrow. And I don't know, the amount of people that sent flowers and showed up and people that just stopped by to say, hey, and I'm not behind the chair. So it's not like I had to like walk away from clients. So I was just in there like a kid on Christmas. I didn't want to go home. And so that was just, you can't sell that feeling. And I think that as a business owner, that's one of the things where it's like, you'll have 50 million different things that you're ready to throw in the flag. But it is that those type of feelings where you're like, okay, this is what I can stick through. This is why I do it.
That sounds like a magical day and really so beautiful to see so many people rally behind celebrating the movement of
It
pinup.
was
That's
amazing.
cool. That's a lot of fun. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Um, what's one piece of advice you'd give somebody in the industry, whether they're starting out or they're seasoned in their career, who really wants to be a part of something bigger than themselves, whether it's a brand or a team or a movement like what you guys have done? What advice do you have somebody who's looking to grow that or join that?
Make sure they align with it and also understand that if you don't, that's okay. If it's if you want to build your own thing, one, you need to be okay with being misunderstood and also knowing that not everyone's going to like you or like what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you have nothing but heart and passion behind it. It's you're just not for everyone and not everybody's for you. So trying to not take that so personal. Obviously, we all want to be liked by everybody, but not everyone likes me, and that's on them. That's okay. And if you want to build your own thing, just going and doing that, knowing what your purpose is and being very strong in that so that if you have other people that are going to eventually want to come into what you're building, you're not going to let their opinion sway yours from something that you never even wanted. And if you're entering something, I'm a very collaborative person. I know a lot of businesses aren't like that. I think more are now, especially with salons. Um, but using your voice and learning how to use that and give input on where you think things could grow or change and just being able to be comfortable in your own skin. I feel like it's a hard thing to teach. It takes a long time for us to get there. I'm 34, which I know is still young, but I've been told by a lot of people I have an old soul. But I feel like I really found myself in when I was probably probably the year I turned 30. I don't know what it is about your 30s, but I love it. And I've always been very unapologetic, but it's been something about these last 4 years where I'm very comfortable. I'm comfortable and knowing that I've said my truth. I stand in my peace and that's that.
Thank you. Christina, you've walked us through a bit of what it's like to lead with compassion, with power, with a lot of fun and pink and making it magic. You're even sharing about your grand opening. You just made me wish I was there that day. Like I could feel the energy
So
of you
good.
relating that. So it's clear that you have a lot of heart. And I really appreciate you sharing us some of your pointers for people about understanding the myth of balance and then also ways that they can lead their own teams or their own self to more success and deeper meaning in their careers by using the Stylist Playbook. I think that's incredible. If people want to look at something like that or they want to follow you, and I mean, I sure hope you have reels and videos of your grand opening and of your space
It's
all over your
amazing.
page. How can we find you? How can we reach out to you? And how can we cheer you on and support the Girl Gang?
So my personal Instagram is PS period Christina with a C, Christina K. And then my for Pinup Studio, which we do post a lot of funny reels. It is not all just hair pictures. We have a lot of fun on social media. So that is just Pinup Studio underscore NC.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm sure everybody listening will get a lot out of this and have some inspiration. And please go check out her space and look at her cute freaking wallpaper. It's amazing. Thanks for joining us today on Brazen and Bold.
Thank you.